Good evening, everyone. Welcome to the Springfield Planning Board. Today is Wednesday, November 17th. Phil, if you would give a brief intro and then do roll call.
Yeah, just quickly for those who may be watching the meetings, due to the Zoom requirements, the meetings are in a two-stage process. New items will be heard tonight. The petitioners will have an opportunity to present to the board. The board will then ask questions, but the item will not be voted on tonight. It will be continued. That will then allow the public meeting to be aired at Focus Springfield tomorrow. And then anybody, the general public who has interest in the meeting, can watch it and provide comments. At the following hearing, if any comments are received, they will be read into the record and then the item will be voted on. So let me call the roll. Mr. Cunningham?
Here.
Mr. Minio?
As long as they can hear you here.
Mr. Daniele?
Here.
Ms. Moore?
Here.
Mr. Florian?
Here.
Ms. McQuaid?
Here.
And Ms. Choi is absent, I believe.
Phil, did you call Mr. Cunningham?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay.
Just quickly, Gloria, under the two public hearings that are continued for tonight, zone change number 3225, which is the zone change for 797 Parker Avenue. I have been in contact with the developer or the petitioner. He has indicated that he's still not ready to move forward. I did let him know that, this is an item that can't be on the agenda indefinitely. He has indicated to me that he is getting close to having his plans completed, and hopefully we'll be able to hear him at the next meeting. So I would just ask for a motion to continue this until the December 1st hearing.
Okay, before we do that though, could we accept the minutes?
Sorry about that. I forgot we had.
No, it's okay. I would accept it. Go ahead, Rico.
I guess I'll do it. I'll make a motion to accept the minutes of September 1st, September 15th, and October 6th, 2021.
Thank you. Is there a second? Second. Thank you. Phil, you want to do roll call or hand vote?
Yeah, let me just do a quick roll call for accepting the minutes. Mr. Cunningham?
Yes.
Mr. Minio?
Yes.
Mr. Daniele?
Yes.
Ms. Moran?
Yes.
Ms. DiFilippo?
Yes.
Mr. Florian?
Yes.
Ms. McQuaid?
Yes.
And Ms. Choi absent. So again, if I could just get a motion to continue the zone change to the December 1st.
I'll make a motion to continue the zone change.
Second.
Thank you.
So voting to continue the zone change, Mr. Cunningham,
Yes.
Mr. Minio,
Yes.
Mr. Daniele,
Yes.
Ms. Moran,
Yes.
Ms. DiFilippo,
Yes.
Mr. Florian,
Yes.
Ms. McQuaid,
Yes.
and Ms. Choi absent. Under the next item, the subdivision for Whispering Brook Estates. Again, this has been on the agenda for a number of meetings, but the revised plans have been submitted, but they were not submitted until late last week. So the Department of Public Works has not reviewed them yet, nor have I had a chance to review them. So I do believe they're going to be ready to go at the next meeting on December 1st. So again, if I could just get a motion to continue this to the December 1st hearing.
Move to continue the subdivision plan for Whispering Brooks Estates.
Is there a second? Thank you, Marty.
Voting to continue the subdivision, Mr. Cunningham,
Yes.
Mr. Minio,
Yes.
Mr. Daniele,
Yes.
Ms. Moran,
Yes.
Ms. DiFilippo,
Yes.
Mr. Florian,
Yes.
Ms. McQuaid,
Yes.
Ms. Choi absent. Okay, so moving on now to public hearings new. We have a liquor license It's a Farmers Series pour permit, the location 34 Front Street. The petitioner is Rustic Brewing Company, Inc.
Who's here to speak in
LLC.
favor of this petition?
Ariella.
My partner and I'm Jared.
Okay, if you would state your name and your address, please, for the record.
Jared Methy, 199 Windsor Street, Ludlow, Massachusetts. Do you need the zip code?
No.
Okay. And then my partner, Michael, also. So I don't know if you need his.
Yes, Michael, please.
My
Or
name
you
is Michael Kopiak, 11 Druid Hill Road in Springfield, Massachusetts.
Thank you. Go ahead. Tell us about your plans.
So our plans are, we are a production brewery right now, operating out of the 34 Front Street address in Indian Orchard. And this is to add on to our license and allow us to serve our product that we make on premise to consumers on premise.
Okay. And you stated that your hours of operation in the agreement are Friday 4 to 9, Saturday 12 to 9, Sunday 2 to 8. Is that correct?
Yes, that
Those
is
hours
correct.
changed? No,
Nope.
okay,
Those are the correct hours that we'll be operating under.
all right. And have you talked to the Indian Orchard Citizens Council?
Yes, we met with them on 2 occasions, and they were for our plans, and we've worked very well with them, and they've been very supportive of us. We appreciate their hard work too.
Okay, thank you. Are there any questions or concerns from the board?
No concerns, just a quick question. Is it food as well, or are you just doing sampling or beer of what you're brewing?
What we will have is just no food. Yeah, it'll just be our beer.
Okay. I saw somewhere in it where they referred to it as a restaurant, so that's what threw me off.
I think that may come into play because the type of license is a newer state license since about 2018 or so. And I think
Okay.
on the city side, they didn't really have anything that equated to it. So the closest thing was the restaurant license.
Okay, that was why I wasn't, because I know I saw it.
Okay. We haven't received anything from the Indian Orchard Citizens Council. Did they happen to send something to you?
I don't believe I did.
Okay,
I believe we did forward it with one of our
Oh, sorry, I'll take it back.
but we
you
could
have it?
easily-
Okay, that's fine. Just so we put it in the record, that's all.
Yes, I do.
Okay. Thank you, Phil.
Anything else?
One quick question. Are you planning on having beer to go, or it's all consumed on premise right now? But is that the plan, or is it available?
So right now we're open Fridays and Saturdays for beer to go. Friday right now it's from 4 to 7 and Saturday is from 12 to 4. But we're gonna add on, and we'll still have beer to go when we're open also for drinking on premise.
Okay.
Curiosity, please. What size beer are you gonna pour for people to taste?
It'll probably be like, we'll do some samples, where you get like 4-ounce pours, and then we'll have like a 16-ounce pour also.
Okay. Now, Peter, if I can ask you, do they have to be tip certified to do this, correct? Oh, you're muted.
We'll ask them to be tip certified.
Okay,
We We actually all are ourselves, and I'm requiring that all of our employees are tip certified anyway. So just to make sure we're ahead of the game on that.
Okay. Again, I'm just curious.
Yep.
16 ounces of beer, how many can a person consume on the premises? Is there a limit?
I don't believe we were going to set one based off having the tip certification, knowing when people are, you know, that certification is pretty good training. It was an eye opener for me even. So we'll be able to use our judgment on that, but we're not really looking for people to have more than 2 or 3 there anyway, because that's kind of the range of when you probably had too many.
Okay.
Just a concern with no food, right, Gloria?
Well, that's what I'm, a little on the fence about.
Yeah, yeah.
So we're not going to have our own food as in like our own kitchen, but we're planning on having a food truck every time we are open.
Okay. All right.
Yeah.
Well,
So we won't
That's
have our
a
own
great
kitchen.
idea.
that
In
feels a
addition,
little better.
in addition to that, our policy is also a bring your own food. So everyone is welcome to order from the local restaurants in the area, have it delivered, or bring it in themselves and eat on premise. So we are encouraging people to have and bring food. It just, as far as us being a restaurant, we're not cooking or preparing anything on our premise of our own.
Okay. It's just good to know that there would be food available. That's all,
Do you,
safety.
and this is just curiosity, do you have an area where people can eat and do this outside when the weather's nice?
Everybody loves that question.
Do they?
Not-
Yeah. Well, it sounds like
Not
fun
yet.
with a beer and a food truck and yeah.
Yeah, not yet. We're talking with the owners maybe about doing like an outdoor beer garden next year in the part of their property. But right now we're just trying to get it for the winter and be inside. So.
Right, right. I mean, it's something new that we haven't seen, so it's really an interesting concept. Some of the other ones have full restaurants. That's why we're asked, I was asked.
Yeah, like White Lion.
White Lion, yes. That was what I was
Yeah.
thinking.
I do have a question regarding parking on site. Obviously, when we're talking about opening this up so people can come and taste beer on site, it's probably going to generate a lot more traffic to the site. I'm looking at kind of an aerial of 34 Front Street. Is that parking lot? Is that where people are going to be parking if they're going to come consume on site?
So do you have this plan in front of you there that says parking on both locations across the street and in their parking lot?
Oh, okay. Yeah, I'm just looking at it.
Yeah, so there's both of those, and then actually the owners I don't know if you see the parcel next to the river, but that actually just became new parking that they bought that off of the city, I think, last year, and they turned that into all new parking spots along the river on the back deck.
Nice.
So they actually added more parking that they didn't have before.
Okay.
And
Peter,
we've had poor days, 1 day poor licenses here and there over the last couple of years. We never had an issue with parking.
Peter, would you explain the license? This is a new one, at least for me, Farmer Series 4 license.
It's our first one, actually, in Springfield. What they had right now is, correct me guys if I'm saying this wrong, they have a farmer brewery license, which allows them to brew their own beer and sell the beer on the premises, but not serve the beer on the premises. They could sell beer to go, and they can sell their beer to retailers, but they can't serve servings of beer, only samples, but with permission of the local board. So once they have the farmer brewery's license, they can and are right now applying for a farmer series pouring permit. And this farmer series pouring permit will allow them to serve, normal size servings, not just samples, normal size servings that they already told you, on the premises to customers. So, but they can only serve their own product. They can't serve White Lion, they can't serve Youngling, they can only serve Rustic Brewing beer on the premises. So because of that, we were trying to figure out what category license they're going to fall into, because we don't have a farmer series pouring permit right now. So the closest thing was a general on-premise beer and wine license, but that's for a licensee who can serve any kind of beer, buy from their distributor and serve on the premises. And the commission discussed this last week at our hearing, and we felt that there should be another category for a farmer series pouring permit, because those licensees can only serve their own product. So we have a new license type as of last Wednesday at a much reduced cost to the farmer series brewers because they're only serving their own product.
Okay, thank you for that.
Yeah.
Thank you very much.
Is there a like a cap to the amount of licenses that the city can give out? I know that they're the first one. I'm just curious.
There is a cap on total cap on different by type, but we're not at our beer and wine license cap. And I would assume that, I don't know, but I assume this would fall under the beer and wine, and unless the ABC tells us that we're over our cap for beer and wine, that that won't be a problem with this one.
Okay.
Okay, are there any other questions from the board members? Okay. Mike or Jared, do you have anything else you would like to add?
Oh, no, we just appreciate your guys' time and working with us, because as you guys are learning this whole process, we are too. So we appreciate you guys working with us on this.
All right. Well, if there are no other questions from the board, I will accept a recommendation to continue this hearing to the next meeting.
Move to
I'll make a
continue this
motion.
hearing.
Go ahead, Marty.
Make a motion to continue this hearing.
Is there a second?
Second.
Okay, Phil, if you do roll call.
Voting to continue the hearing, Mr. Cunningham,
Yes.
Mr. Minio,
Yes.
Daniele,
Yes.
Ms. Moran,
Yes.
Ms. DiFilippo,
Yes.
Mr. Florian,
Yes.
Ms. McQuaid,
Yes.
and Ms. Choi is absent. So this will be continued until December 1st.
Okay, thank you, gentlemen. See you in 2 weeks.
All right. Thank you guys very much.
Thank you very much.
Okay, under the next public hearing, a new beer and wine liquor license, location 320-324 Wilbraham Road. The petitioner is West Indian Delight, Inc.
Okay, if the petitioner would state their name and address.
Cornell Forbes, 324 Wilbraham Road, Springfield, Mass.
Okay. Would you talk a little bit about your request?
Well, I operated a takeout restaurant for the past maybe 30 years at this location. And I just have this bright idea to have a different settings, have a seating area as well. So I'll have a takeout and a seating area, and just have a beer and wine on the seated area, not on the takeout side. So it's like a new redesigned spot that's adjacent to the takeout restaurant right now.
All right, so you can only purchase beer or wine while you're sitting there. You cannot purchase bottles to take out.
No takeout, it's just dining.
Okay,
Patrons who want to sit and dine, then they can have, the choice if they choose a beer or a wine to go with their meals.
okay. And I see you're doing alterations to the building too?
Yes, I have, inside and outside, you know, to make it more appealing for the neighborhood and
Okay.
a little bit like,
And
you know. And
Have you talked to the Upper Hill Neighborhood Council?
yes, we have discussions with them and still in discussions also, yes.
And what did they have to say?
Well, they're mostly in favor of it, but we still got to provide them with, you know, some added information that they asked for. So we're still waiting to hear, you know, their final draft of the whole thing. But so far, it sounds like they're, you know, positive towards it.
Okay. Well, I'm curious, what added information are they looking for?
Well, they asked for like a business plan. So
Okay.
you know, we have to draft up a plan and submit it to them. So they'll look it over and get back with their final recommendation if you know.
All right. So they're basically just discussing it.
Basically.
And we received a letter from a neighbor. Did the council members have a chance to read it?
Is that email?
No,
I did send that to the, I think you guys should have a copy of that, Mr.
Should we read it?
I mean, I can if you'd like me to.
yes, please.
We probably should read it into the record.
Yeah, I think
Yeah, I
so.
didn't receive it.
This is from a Michael Wiesma, and it says, I'm responding to a postcard I received about a petition for a new liquor license for Talk of the Town / West Indian Delight Inc. at 324 Wilbraham Road. First of all, I do not think the community has received sufficient notice to properly respond or comment to this petition. I had intended to write a proper letter. However, I see the deadline is too quick for the mail, and so this email will have to suffice. I live at 64 Colonial Avenue. One house separates us from this petitioner. Let me say that the petitioner is already a poor neighbor, which allows food waste and oil to rot and fester in the dumpster and the surrounding blacktop. They have recently moved the dumpster so that it abuts my neighbor, leaving the putrid dumpster within, say, 15 feet of the bedroom windows of both apartments of that address. They make a habit of slamming the dumpster doors, in parentheses, in an effort to compact the waste, unparenthesized, and then late at night, say around midnight, without any apparent concern or awareness of what they are doing. They have recently, after an unfortunate fire, installed a light in the rear of their property, which unnecessarily shines directly into the front of our houses at night. They make no effort to clean up the food waste that their customers leave on our street. At any rate, we do not need another outlet for alcohol sales in this neighborhood area, as our alcohol, quote unquote, needs are served quite well by J&J Package Store on State Street, 1 mile away. This is currently unnecessary. This is a completely unnecessary alcohol redundancy. One of my friends, a longtime community member, stated once that having a liquor store in the middle of a city was akin to, quote, throwing gas on a fire, unquote. Further, I constantly hear about how liquor stores and liquor outlets are concentrated in areas heavily populated by minorities, and I think there is truth in both of these statements. We do not need another liquor outlet here. We do not need it at Talk of the Town, and it is unnecessarily redundant and potentially harmful. Its benefits only the business, which has shown their disdain for the immediate neighbors whenever possible. I strongly oppose this license, most of all because it is 1 mile from a liquor store. How many liquor outlets do we need? Is there some service that J&J is not providing that would be provided here? No. Please vote to deny the license. Thank you. Again, Michael Wires.
Okay, gentlemen, those are serious concerns from that neighbor. How are you addressing them?
This neighbor, I don't think is my next door neighbor. He's somewhere, down the street. And I think most of what he's saying is false, because I keep a quite clean area, and I'm not gonna be operating a package store, a liquor store. I'm offering, beer and wine for my in-dining patrons. So as far as
I'm sorry, you're breaking up. Would you repeat what you just said, please?
And all that, I'm not sure what he's talking about.
I'm not getting it. Is anybody else?
Can't hear him.
No.
Okay.
Gentlemen, you appear to be frozen, so let's just wait a moment, see if you'll unfreeze and we can hear what you just said.
I mean, I personally, the liquor store part, it's not a liquor store.
Hello?
But the other things were a real concern.
Yeah, and just,
We're having some problem with our internet connection there.
we can hear you now.
Okay, sorry about that, but our internet connection is kind of weak, unstable. I'm not sure where Mr. Forbes left off, but for me, I'm a contractor that's helping to support Mr. Forbes.
Okay, may I interrupt you, please?
Sure.
Could you tell me your name and your address so we have it in the record, sir?
My name is Mark Wedderburn. My address is 45 Lyman Barnes Road, Springfield, Massachusetts.
Okay, thank you.
Right, so I'm a contractor that's helping to support Mr. Forbes and his business. As Mr. Forbes said, he is an upstanding citizen and he runs a very good business in the neighborhood. They've been here for at least the Jamaican restaurant and presence has been here from 1978. There's not been any trouble or problems with the restaurant in all these years. If the neighbor had a problem, he could have easily came by and say, this or that, but apparently he did not. We did not know that he was having this problem with us. We don't believe that we're doing all the things that he says. But either way, I think that's a very easy problem to address as far as, the dumpster slamming or even the light that he said was recently put up. We have reached out to the neighborhood council for Upper Hill neighborhood. Like we stated, we're in communication. They asked us for a business plan, which we've put together. On short order, we put together something and we sent it to them. Everybody, I should say everybody, but a lot of people in the neighborhood know of Talk of the Town restaurant. If you guys don't mind, I'd just like to read a small passage out of the business plan to more or less give you an idea or a picture of how established Talk of the Town has been in this neighborhood, if you don't mind.
No, go ahead. I mean, I can't speak for the rest of the board, but I've known of Talk of the Town and have been there. I know it's there for a number of years. Before you start, though, I would like to make one clarification so that it's on record, and that you are not asking to be a liquor store. You are not asking to sell beer or wine. You are only providing a service of beer or wine to customers who are in your establishment, sitting there and eating the food in the restaurant. So I just wanted to make sure that was clarified so that anybody who's watching this broadcast will understand that there is a difference between being a liquor store and being a a store or a restaurant that's doing in-house service of beer and wine. Go ahead.
Yes, that's what the plan is. Yeah, so I'm gonna read from the company overview. It states, Springfield, Massachusetts for years has with open arm welcomed the Forbes family and the Jamaican community in general to this beautiful city. Talk of the Town restaurant has provided traditional Jamaican cooking for takeout dining in the Springfield area and surrounding communities for over 27 years. Talk of the Town, located in the heart of the Upper Hill neighborhood, has become almost as familiar to the community as Urban League is to Mason Square. The restaurant is a familiar place where friends and residents of Springfield often bump into each other as they satisfy their crave for Jamaican dining. Cornell Forbes, owner and late wife, Lorna Forbes, purchased the restaurant from the late Carol Farfan in 1994 and has worked tirelessly to grow the business to what it is today. From 1994, the restaurant was called Talk of the Town. 2008 to 2020, Mr. Forbes brought into the International Golden Crust franchise, therefore changing the name of the restaurants to Golden Crust. After careful consideration, they decided not to renew their Golden Crust membership and reverted back to Talk of the Town. Unfortunately, during this transition period, the store experienced a fire in the kitchen area and was closed for approximately 4 months. Mr. Forbes used this opportunity to do some well-needed repairs, mainly to the kitchen area, then reopened the restaurant on August 9th, 2021, back as Talk of the Town. This is company's summary heading. With an intrinsic support of the community, we are prompted to provide our patrons with the option not only for takeout, but also to be able to dine in, as well as a gathering place for private function available for rent. So I hope that, I read that in hopes that it gives you guys an overall view of the history of the business, and that this business has been a strong and stable business in the neighborhood.
Thank you. Do any of the other board members have any other questions?
I guess the only question I have is, obviously this neighbor, I don't think it should be just dismissed. I mean, are you willing to talk with him or reach out if he, you know, if he's having these problems? It sounds like he's only 2 houses away.
I'll definitely reach out to him. As a matter of fact, first thing tomorrow, I'll find out who this neighbor is and see what I can address to make him or whoever else feels comfortable with what's going on here. No problem with that.
Because even when they did the site visit from the planning board, they made a comment about the dumpster being right abutting one of the neighbors' houses. That was in the report. So that we know seems to be an issue.
Well, that is an issue that can be fixed easily. So I took that, the recommendation, I looked into it, and I can address that, and that should be no big problem going forward.
Okay.
Okay, and then the light, just see that the light shines on the parking lot, not into a neighbor's yard, which is should be an easy accommodation.
Yes,
just to be sure.
That's also is easily fixed, but these are security lights, so people can see everything. There's no dark corners.
Right.
But if that is going to impede somebody or let them feel uncomfortable, we can adjust the lighting or take it down, to a different brightness.
That would be fine, whichever works appropriate, because you do.
It sounds like an adjustment, yeah.
Yeah.
Right, so
Okay.
these are that we weren't aware of. I mean, if the neighbor had came over and said that he was having these problems, we would have definitely addressed it, no problem.
That's fine. Just continue to talk to the Upper Hill Neighborhood Council. Encourage them to send a letter to the planning board when they've made their recommendation, so we have it on record. And we will, as long as no one else has any questions, we will then continue the hearing for another 2 weeks.
I think the only thing that I would suggest, you know, when we have new sites come across, you know, the planning board, one of the newer requirements that we do have is that the dumpsters are supposed to be in enclosures. You know, that might be an idea that you guys could use to, you know, kind of satisfy this neighbor if you can kind of have it in an enclosure so they, you know, they don't see it.
Yes.
It can help your case.
Thank you. Good suggestion.
That is the plan moving forward.
All right, if there are no other questions, I will accept a motion to continue this hearing.
I'll make a motion to continue the hearing.
Thank you, Marty. Jennifer, second. Phil, if you do roll call.
Voting to continue the hearing, Mr. Cunningham,
Yes.
Mr. Minio,
Yes.
Mr. Daniele,
Yes.
Ms. Moran,
Yes.
Ms. DiFilippo,
Yes.
Mr. Florian,
Yes.
Ms. McQuaid,
Yes.
and Ms. Choi is absent. This will be continued until December 1st.
All right, thank you, gentlemen. Phil, are there any, oh, we have the Pioneer Valley Planning Commission.
Yeah, just quickly, I have no subdivisions, but just for the board's information, as part of the Pioneer Valley Planning Commission has the planning board is required to have one of the members be a commissioner of that particular board. Rosemary has very kindly volunteered to be that representative of the planning board. So I was hoping to just take a vote tonight to appoint Rosemary to the Pioneer Valley Planning Commission's board to represent the planning board. Tim Sheehan, who's the Chief Development Officer, is the alternative. Scott Hansen had been the alternative for a number of years. We haven't had an actual appointee from the board for a number of years, and we're trying to catch up to make sure we follow what their requirements are. So if I could just quickly have a motion to appoint Rose.
I'll make a motion to appoint Rosemary to the commission.
Second.
So voting to approve Rosemary, Mr. Cunningham,
Yes.
Mr. Minio,
Yes.
Mr. Daniele,
Yes.
Ms. Moran. I guess you.
Can I vote or do I
Well,
abstain?
you can abstain, that's fine. Ms. DiFilippo,
Yes.
Mr. Florian,
Yes.
What do you mean?
Ms. McQuaid,
Yes.
Ms. Choi is absent. Finally, just quickly, I did send out the amazingly enough, another year's gone by, so I did send out the meeting schedule for next year. Just on a note, you know, I've only read this from Mass Live, but it appears that the city council is intending to move back to, I guess you call them face-to-face meetings in January. You know, I don't know if that's been confirmed yet, but that's what I read. You know, so in talking with Tim Sheehan, we're going to try and what I was hoping to do was kind of wait until February to see how it goes in January, and assuming all goes well, then I would like to be able to try and get the planning board back to regular meetings. Again, you know, the big thing for me with these Zooms is the cost to advertise these meetings, because the amount of text that is needed is over the top. You know, some of these ads are close to $1,000. So, you know, it really puts a strain on petitioners, especially for zone changes when they have to be advertised twice. It's closer to $1,500 or $1,600 to advertise these meetings. So again, I sent the schedule out with the basis that they remain Zoom. But again, I think if the city council goes well in January, we would try and get back to kind of face-to-face meetings in February, and then go back to the 6 o'clock to allow people time, especially Rico, to be able to get to the meeting. So I'll keep everybody informed if there's a change, but that's kind of the plan as of now. You know, I would do the same for the Conservation Commission as well as the Historical Commission. I know the school board is currently meeting face-to-face. But so the planning board room is kind of set up, I think, now with kind of plexiglass between each member. So we'll see how it goes with the city council, and then I'll certainly keep you guys informed.
Okay. All right. Everybody, before we close the meeting, have a nice Thanksgiving.
Yes, have a nice Thanksgiving.
Thanks.
Thank you. Same to you. Same to everybody.
Okay.
And
I
I
will
make a
accept the
motion
motion.
to adjourn.
Thank you, Leo.
Is that fast
Second.
enough, Leo?
Thank you all.
All right,
Happy
good night.
holiday. Bye.
Take care.
Good night.